So I want to remind you that there are a lot of creators on this site and other sites that rage bait you. And I want you to be careful about not falling for that tactic. So if you haven't heard the term before, rage bait means that a creator will say something extreme and provocative to get you to react or engage with their content. Now, what they're saying may or may not be true, but they're wanting to say something in the most extreme way to provoke you to respond and to provoke more engagement. So an example of rage bait is something like, never trust a cheater. Once they've cheated, they'll always keep cheating, whether they admit to it or not. Something like a cheater thinks less of you once you take them back because then they know that they can do this and it erodes their love for you. Both of those statements aren't supported by clinical literature, but people like to say them because they scare you or they provoke rage in you, and then you interact with their content and they end up making more money from that. So be careful. If you think that somebody is saying something that's extreme, call them out on it, because I think rage baiting is really unethical. And every single day, one of you sends me a video where somebody is rage baiting. So I could repost all this stuff every day and, dispute all of their stats every day, but I don't choose to spend my time that way. So if you find something or hear something that sounds wrong to you, go to Google Scholar, type it in, right? Like statistics for, PTSD after infidelity, something like that. And you will get some articles that will come up. Now, in fairness, journal articles are really hard to read, and they're written in a very cumbersome, scholarly, academic way. It's hard for me to read them, and I don't enjoy reading a lot of the journal articles. So what you can do is find an article that seems relevant to your, search term, take some of it, take the abstract, paste that into ChatGPT and say, hey, ChatGPT, will you explain this to me, or say it in simpler language? That is beautiful, and it makes it a lot easier to understand. So you can fact check a lot of the people who rage bait, and I encourage you to do that and call them out on it. Another thing you can do is to just say, hey, what's your source for this claim? And see if they'll even respond to you. Some of them will say something like, oh, it's on the internet, go look for it. Okay, that's not very helpful. Some of them will say a source like, oh, Psychology Today. Well, I like Psychology Today, and often a lot of their things are well sourced, but some of them aren't. So we need an original research source, right? That is an original source that's been published in a journal, not something somebody just wrote on a website for fun on a Thursday. So ask them for their sources, because anybody that is ethical and a responsible creator is going to have no problem giving you sources. I love to give you sources. And that way you can go and see the findings for yourself. And every once in a while, some of us will make mistakes. This is totally okay. It's a very different thing to be honest and admit that you made a mistake and you got something wrong than it is to intentionally mislead people and manipulate them and kind of bait them into engaging with your content by making them feel angry or rageful. Okay, so hope that helps. Big hugs. Good luck. Look out for rage bait.